Yo, what is up, YouTube? So today what I want to do is I want to talk about how to make a deck for Trackblazer. We're going to be covering everything in terms of like what are free-to-play decks for you to use, common cards that should be like options that you're thinking about, how you could replace them with cards that maybe you have better copies of, like Hitasan Black or Super Creek, as well as just like the guidelines and how exactly you could go about making your deck and sort of the thought process behind them. We'll go over a few examples at the end too, so stick around for that. Leave a like and subscribe if this is helpful to you at all. Use code MAMA for 10% off your gamer subs. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's get right into it. So, bro just looks like he ate a sour lemon. The common thing that I've run into is that I really like to play grand strategy games. I'm talking about
This is when I had hair. This is when I actually had hair. Bro, my hair is so long. Oh, the game looks so good still. The graphical fidelity, the details, it's really good. All right, well, dang. It's just been 10 months and so much has changed. Not just my hair, but the game itself. Raid Shadow Legends is celebrating its 7th anniversary and so much has changed. Right now, they've got a collab event with Assassin's Creed, which has personally been a long-time favorite IP of mine. It's really cool to see their faithful take on Ezio, who's supposed to be this very crafty master assassin. By logging in for 7 consecutive days, you can recruit Ezio, and by logging in for additional days, they'll give you rewards to gear and level him up quickly. And if you thought it was just Ezio they'd include, you'd be wrong. There are more ways like dedicated events, tournaments, and summon boosts to obtain the other assassins from the IP, like Edward Kenway, Cassandra, Bayek, and Basim. Collect all the assassins to unlock an exclusive bonus reward. Download Raid right now using my link in the description below or by using the QR code in the top left-hand corner. New players can join and claim some insane bonuses, including the $200 anniversary package where you can get the legendary champion Krokmar, the Devourer, and a bunch of rewards to boost your champions by simply playing the game. Thank you, Plarium, for supporting me and my channel for such a long time. And now, back to the video. This is it. This is my deck sort of screen. And we're not going to take a look at the sparks here. Don't worry about that. We're just going to think about, like, cards and the guidelines for making a deck. So the very first, like, hard and fast rule, what we want to think about is pretty much only one rule, as far as I can think about right now, okay? And that's just race bonus. Race bonus, race bonus, race bonus. You know it, I know it. Trackblazer, the scenario. If you look at my guide where we're talking about everything you need to know about Trackblazer, if you look at my free-to-play comprehensive play guide, you know that racing gets you shop coins. Shop coins let you abuse the mechanic of the scenario and essentially soup up and cheat your run, right? Your run, your career, your umamusume can get really high stats, a huge roll, if they race a lot, acquire a lot of coins, and buy a lot of the items and use them. Race bonus allows us to get more stats and more skill points. So these are the race bonus thresholds, right? And this is talking about like, hey, if I have this amount of race bonus, right? What sort of bonuses can I expect to see in these races that I complete? Race bonus gives you stats and skill points, okay? And you can find this table on uma.guide/guide/trackblazer. Okay, I'll leave that guide, that website in the description below. It's courtesy of like the Victoria Frontier guys, Charles, you know. He has a lot of very good material in there that you can look through. My job here is just to give you what you need to know pertaining to this video's topic and this title. So this is the race bonus table. And what we have here are some guidelines of like where you want to be in terms of race bonus. If you get to 50%, notice the jump in stats that you get. Hammers improve your race bonus for that one race, and you can see that you get a total of 5 different stats here and 2 skill points. Pretty significant increases over here in terms of total stats. On G1s as well, you get 1 additional stat, 2 additional skill points. So in general, like, yes, get your race bonus as high as it can be. If you're a totally new player, like sometimes you might have to settle for 30, 35, 40, 45, but 50 is just really good. You get a total of 3 skill point jump if you have to use small, the iron hammers, the silver hammers,
for these G1 tracks, right? This might seem small. It might seem small to get like 3 skill points here, or 1 stat here, 5 stats here, whatever. But you have to think about, like, if I look at my careers, if I look at my umamusume that I've done, +1, these +3, these +5s, these are multiplied across how many races you're doing. And you're doing like 39 races is a lot, but at least like 30, 35 races, okay, for your umamusume, depending on like what's happening in the career, obviously. But like a good run is gonna look like you're doing anywhere between 25 to 35 races. I mean, this one was really fantastic, so even more than that sometimes. So you're gonna want to utilize the race bonuses. And by the way, that deck that I use is completely free to play. It's a comprehensive free to play guide, and we had 50% race bonus for that one. And so that's a really good number to hit for all these stat and skill point improvements. Where it doesn't really show that much of an improvement if you're getting more race bonus is the 55%, because you get 2 skill points here, but like notice there is no difference in stats. There's no difference in stats in the G1s, okay? Neither in the G2s or G3s, there's no difference in stats, right? There is difference in skill points, but there's no difference in stats. And no difference in stats here as well. But when you get to 60, you do have a difference in skill points and stats. Quite a bit, right? And when you get to 60 to 65, right? Notice over here, there's a huge difference in stats, or it's 5, with the gold hammer, okay? With the gold hammers, you're going to get a difference in stats from 60 to 65. Now, this is like pretty hard to achieve, especially if you're new, if you're a free-to-play player, so don't worry about too much about getting that. Just worry about getting to this 50% race bonus number. That's the only real hard and fast guideline, the only real rule there is when making your deck, right? In terms of like what's unique to Trackblazer, okay? So with that in mind, we want to keep in mind and understand like the cards that are available to us that have high race bonus. And so I have a list of cards over here. These are common cards with high race bonus. Common cards because these are cards either that the community has always advised that you roll on, or they are cards that are SR cards, or they are event cards or story-related cards. Cards you could buy from the Friend Point shop, the Crown shop. Cards that a lot of people typically will have in their inventory. And with Max Limit Break, of course, okay? Remember, event cards, story cards, you can get Max Limit Break just by participating in the event. And SR cards require a bit of luck, and SSR cards probably require a little bit of spending, but they're typically cards that we've advised you guys to roll for if you've been playing a while. Common cards with high race bonus, you can see that there's not really that many cards with 15% race bonus. And these are cards that have a heavy consideration, if not just to help you meet that 50% number. But most cards are going to be like 10% race bonus that you can play around with. Notice here as well in the 5% bracket, you have a lot of speed SRs that have 5% race bonus. I think this includes vodka. Yes. So speed vodka, maybe not the most recommended, but she does have 5% race bonus on her card, which makes her on par with these other speed cards that are 5% race bonus, which is very convenient, very useful, I think. Another card that's not sort of shown here, Narita Brian, and this is a story-related card. You get it from completing story, as well as you get it the rest of her copies from the Crown shop, okay? So these cards very conveniently are speed cards and all contribute 5% race bonus, which is good, right? But first, we probably want to think about like the 10% race bonuses that we do have. So these are the cards we want to kind of keep in mind when making our deck. We're not going to do anything right now. We're not going to form it. We still have to answer a few questions before thinking about how to make the deck. But it's just good to know, like, speed cards are typically going to give you 5% race bonus, right? And a lot of the other cards that we can play around with will give you 10. Let's think about the questions we have to answer. So making your deck, what are we building this deck for? Okay. This also takes into consideration the UMA that you're building as well, right? What are your stat growths, right? What kind of decks can we build? If you do have speed growth, then you could possibly do a Guts deck. And Guts decks are pretty nice in that a lot of the cards that are available to them, like the Yukino Bijin, which is a recent event card. Haru Urara, this is a Guts card that everyone has. Ayabe, if you have her, she's very recent, so typically you might not have her, but you could use gold SR uncapped crystals to uncap this. and get like 50% race bonus, which is amazing, right? A lot of Guts cards are free to play friendly. And so if you have speed growth, Guts training trains Guts, speed, and power. And that will help you get like really good target stats if you have 10, 15, 20% speed growth. Okay. And then finally, you want to think about like what are the sparks that we have as well. Okay. So let's say I'm building this deck for Pisces Cup. Okay. Pisces Cup is a long distance race. It's 3,200 meters. That means I'm going to have to use some stamina. Okay. In that context, let's think about making a deck for, let's say, Machigana Tannhäuser. Let's just think about Mambo for a second, okay? We'll always think about Mambo. If that's the case, well, let's take a look at her growths. I have 20% stamina growth. I have 10% guts, okay? So stamina is pretty easy for me to solve. I can have stamina sparks, and with stamina sparks that I have, I probably only really need one stamina card. Now, this is just something you're gonna have to like develop as you do more runs, get the feel for, right? Obviously, you want to do a career run, see where your stamina lands. If it's below what you want, then you're just gonna add another stamina card. But first things first is like, okay, well, let's think about the stamina for my Pisces Cup, for my 3,200 meter long racetrack. There are not that many stamina options to think about. There is like Metro McQueen, who has 5% race bonus. There is Rice Shower, who has 5% race bonus, and she's also free to play. Very highly advise you don't maximum break this card. It's a waste of crowns. Same thing over here. It's just not as good. The best stamina card that I would say is hopefully you have Super Creek. This has 10% race bonus, but you don't need her. You could always borrow her as well. If you are not borrowing her, if you don't have her, then Metro Bright is another option, who has 5% race bonus if you maximum break her. This is an event card available right now just by participating. And but the best one that I would recommend is this card, Manhattan Cafe, who is a fantastic stat stick, has initial friendship gauge, and 10% race bonus. So this card has pretty much like everything you need in terms of a stamina card. Okay, if you don't have Super Creek, you don't have the Swinging Maestro, just to meet the stamina number, I would highly advise, let's start off with Manhattan Cafe with the stamina card. And if I have Super Creek, then I would put her instead. Okay, I want to kind of advise you like what you could put as well on top of it. So for Manhattan Cafe, just to meet the stamina stat, this is good. Otherwise, replace the Super Creek, obviously, because she has not only the best stat sticks, but she has Swinging Maestro, right? But let's say you're free to play. We're going to do Manhattan Cafe. The next thing I want to think about is like speed. Where am I going to get my speed from? Well, I'm not getting it from the sparks, and I have 0% speed growth. So very likely in my experience, I need like 3 speed cards. I need like 3 of them. Now, speed cards are pretty interchangeable because most of them have 5% race bonus, right? With the exception of Shinko Windy. Shinko Windy has 10% race bonus, which is fantastic, right? But I'm gonna probably need like my speed cards, which have 5% race bonus. Kiyosan Black is a card that a lot of people do have, a lot of people re-roll for. So I highly advise you use her, though keep in mind she only has 5% race bonus. Very likely, though, what you're going to be doing when you're building a free-to-play deck is you're going to be borrowing a speed card. Either Machigana Fukukitaru, who has 10% race bonus, and is very good. This card's usefulness comes from her initial stats. She's very good to improve your early game performance, because doing the early game races depend on a lot of your initial stats. And for someone like Machigana Tannhäuser, who has B Mile, and we looked at it before in the free-to-play guide in more detail, but the schedule for Make a New Track, a lot of your races in the junior year are going to be miles. So Machigana Tannhäuser is taking a 10% hit in her speed stat because she has a mile of B rating. If she had C, it would be a 20%. And so we need speed. And we need initial speed too. So I like to run Machigana Fukukitaru. If you're just trying to get your speed to a certain number, I would highly advise Biko Pegasus. She has the most amazing potential for a speed stat stick, and along with 10% race bonus. If you're trying to get a lot of your stats up, then Nagita Top Road is probably the best one, because you have training effectiveness based off of your fan count, and it's easy to get 200,000 fans. That's 20% training effectiveness, by the way, that you can get. So very, very good. But my problem is mostly just surviving the early game, where for the mile distance track. So I'm gonna put Mashigana Fukukitodo. And so whether it's Kito-san or it's like any other speed SR that has 5% race bonus, what do I have right now? I have I should have 25% race bonus, right? You can always check over here on the perks, and over here it says your race bonus. Keep in mind though, it's not going to show any race bonus that you get from the unique perks. So for example, let's say I included Marvelous Sunday. Marvelous Sunday on her support effects only has 10% race bonus, but notice that she has unique perk race bonus. Whenever race bonus is on the unique perk, it is another 5% that they're including. So she altogether provides 15%, but if you notice on the perks, it does not mention her 5% coming from anywhere. It only mentions that she's giving 10%. So just keep that in mind, okay? When you're doing a count of your race bonus, make sure you're counting whatever's in your unique perks, okay? But let me just get rid of that for now. I don't think I can get rid of it for now, but we'll just keep her in. This is a free-to-play card, and she's 15% race bonus. That's nice. But let's solve the speed, right? The speed that I need is typically going to be 3 cards. It's just known from experience. You're going to have to do some career runs to kind of figure this out. But if I wanted to do a speed card, okay, well, a free-to-play card that everyone has includes Nadita Bryan, includes Tosin Jordan. So, like, if I wanted to do absolutely free-to-play, and this is actually the speed lineup that I used in my comprehensive free-to-play guide where I got an SS-rated Uma, you know, we had pretty good luck, right? An SS-rated Machigana Tenhoiza. We had a lot of good lucky rolls there. But this is exactly the speed lineup that I used, okay? I got 5% race bonus from this Bryan. I have 5% race bonus from this Jordan, and 10% from here. So altogether, this is 20%. With this is another 10%, so that's 30, right? And with this Marvelous Sunday, I have 45%. So that's good. That means I only need 5% from somewhere else. And stamina is solved. I have stamina sparks. I have 20% stamina growth. That's good. Speed is solved. I have 3 speed cards. In my experience, 3 is good for Machigana Tenhoiza, who has 0% speed growth. And so I just need to find 5% race bonus from something else. I don't think I need any more speed cards. So it's going to be like a power, guts, or a wit card. Usually guts isn't that great unless you're using a lot of guts cards. And power is like, it's okay. I don't need a power card though. So I'll use a wit. And if I use wit, personally, I have a lot of options. Let's say you're a free-to-play player. This is not a bad option. Satsuno Diamond, especially in this CM, where I do have a lot of different colors. I have speed, stamina, power, wit. Satsuno Diamond has increases training effectiveness if the deck has 4+ different card types. With her included, that's 4 different types that I have. Speed, power, stamina, wit. So that's 5% race bonus there. There's also 5% race bonus from Agnes Tachyon, or sorry, 10% race bonus. A lot of wit cards though typically have like 5% race bonus. So you have Daiwa Scarlet, you have Fuji, Kiseki, I believe you have Mejiro Dober, 5% race bonus. You have this event Nice Nature with 5% race bonus. So everything kind of solves that number. Having 10% race bonus here will put me at 55. I don't really care to have 55, so I'm looking at all the options I can have. Mejiro Dober is another event card that has 10% race bonus. Notice 5% from the perk, 5% from here. So she's an event card, but not a lot of people grinded her from my experience. I asked my chat. This is like the card a lot of people were missing. So you might not have her. If I was running a front runner, Mihono Berman is very good, right? We get 5% race bonus. She's the best in slot for a front runner, regardless of the race bonus she provides, but she has 5% anyway. So that's very good. But yeah, this is like a pretty standard free-to-play deck right here. And let's just do another quick count. 10 plus 5 plus 5 is 20. Plus 10 is 30. Plus 5 here is 35. And then plus 15 is 50% race bonus. Right? Let's say you don't have this event card. Then you could also look to use Nishino Flower. This is 15% race bonus right here. If you have the guts, or if you were lucky enough and use the SR crystals maybe to get Admire Vega, Ayabe, she has 15% race bonus there. And so that's really good too. But yeah, this is a nice free-to-play deck that I used in my free-to-play run, and that I think definitely works in order to get your stats up. It's not going to have the best skills, but this is going to get you the stats that you want, the grades that you want, and that's going to be good enough for a lot of people, okay? If I were to kind of upgrade this deck, try to make this a little better, I would probably replace like Nadita Brian with this speed card here. We'll do Kitasan Black. I'd probably replace this Wit card, right? We have Wit card like Fine Motion. That's 10% race bonus over here, right? So I'd even go up in race bonus, right? We could replace this power card because we got a plus 5% race bonus here. I could use a 10% race bonus card if I wanted to. So we could go for like another Wit card if we wanted. And I could replace Marvel Sunday with Marvel Sunday. And now I have like 3 speed, 2 wit, 1 stam. And this stamina card, obviously the upgrade is like, we'll do Super Creek, right? It's obviously Super Creek. This speed card, because remember, every speed card pretty much has 5% race bonus interchangeably. You could use anything you want. Shinko Windy will give you another 5%. But there's a lot of different options for speed cards, so long as it's maximum break, right? Maybe you don't have Tosin Jordan. Maybe you only have Nadita Brand. There you go, right? So that's good. This is a pretty good deck. This is the upgraded version. Okay, and this is not free to play. This is the upgraded version, but that's how you would upgrade it. Let's go over another example. This time, let's think about, let's say over here. We already did someone with 0% speed growth. Let's talk about an Uma that has pretty good growths, maybe for a Guts deck. So let's talk about Vodka. Vodka is a pretty picture-perfect make a new track or Trackblazer Uma candidate. She has A mile, A medium. That means for sparks, you're like free to use your pink sparks for whatever distance you're actually making her for, like mile or medium, right? You could fix her strategy if you wanted to. But already speaking, with distance for the career, she's fine. She's great. She also has 10% speed and 20% power. These are great stat growths to consider making a Guts deck. Other Umas that have similar stat growths are like Grass Wonder, who has 20% speed, 10% power. El Condor Pasa, who has 20% speed, 10% wit. Anyone who has like really good speed growth is a prime candidate for a Guts deck. So for this, right, ignore the sparks. We don't really care about the sparks here in this case. We're gonna be looking to try and build like a free-to-play Guts deck. So if I did that, let's take a look at the Guts cards. You want to use like multiple Guts cards in order to make a Guts deck. And so free-to-play ones that a lot of people should have is Haru Urara. This is a friend point card. You buy all the copies from the friend point shop. There's Yukino Bijin. Yukino Bijin was part of a recent event and has 10% race bonus. So it's very good. Ayabe, I would run, even if it's not max limit break. I have 13% race bonus here because I have, this should be 10, so I have -2 from 15. That's 13. I have 13% race bonus from her. Other ones, I'm not too sure. Is there other ones, chat? Like this one, I think has 10% race bonus, right? 5%? Okay, she has 5%. Serious Symboli? Right. Okay. Yeah, so if you have a lot of copies of her, right? And I think I actually do have maximum break with her. So like these are the heavy hitters in terms of race bonus, right? 10, 10, 15, in my case it's 13. But some other Guts cards that you could put, typically like 3 is really good. This one is a 5% race bonus over here. You have Air Groove, who is 10%. Like, let's say you don't have Admire Vega, right? This one is 10% Air Groove with some pretty decent stat stick capabilities as well. Actually, I would highly recommend Air Groove. You have Friendship, Mood, and Training Effectiveness 10 with 10% race bonus. That's pretty fantastic. She also has Specialty Priority. So this card is very nice. Machigata Tenhoiza, this is a very early event card. And if you level her all the way up, she has 5% race bonus alongside Serious Symboli, who has speed bonus 1. This is a huge consideration when building a guts deck, is having bonuses in the stats that are not guts. So speed and power, right? So this is very, very nice. This card, she has guts bonus, but she still has like pretty good multipliers, I think. Besides that, let's say over here, let's just put Air Groove instead of like Ayabe here, because not a lot of people have Ayabe, probably, right? But you have Air Groove. So these are your 3 guts decks. Typically you want 3, right? You could also consider borrowing some guts cards too. Like Grass Wonder has, if you're trying to build for Furious Feet for a mile, then this is a nice skill. It's very flexible, like what you could do. But this is our guts, right? And so typically what you want to do with guts is use wit cards as with it, right? As well, maybe some speed. I probably wouldn't use any more than 1 or 2 speed cards, but I would use like maybe 1 speed card would be fine with this deck. But for the wit options you have, there are like Marvelous Sunday, Agnes Tachyon. These are pretty common. Measure of Dober has 10% race bonus as well. And I probably wouldn't do Satsuno Diamond in this type of deck because you're trying to like play not more than 3 types of cards, right? If you need some stamina, then sure, we need some stamina, right? Then we could get like Super Creek or Manhattan Cafe, which we might need. Like if we need stamina, we might have to even borrow like a Super Creek, right? Why is my Haru only 5? You have 5% race bonus here, but 5% race bonus here. So always keep in mind, like, this unique perk, anytime race bonus is mentioned in the unique perk, it's added and it's 5%. But yeah, so for this deck, right, I probably go with wit cards over here. Let's say we'll do Marvelous Sunday, and then over here we could do like Machiken and Fukukitaru, which I would say is like bread and butter, is like the most common card people are going to borrow if they do not have her, because the initial stats that she gives is so good. Now that said, Vodka herself is a very good mile distance runner. She's already at A aptitude, so maybe she doesn't need the help. If she doesn't really need the help, then let's just play Nagisa Top Road. If I want to improve all my stats, Nagisa Top Road is the best option because training effectiveness in the card. If I just am finding myself a little short on speed on my career, then I'll put Biko Pegasus, because Biko Pegasus has a huge amount of training effectiveness. She has 20% training effectiveness, okay, and speed bonus and 10% race bonus. And if I look at all the race bonus here, I have 10, 20, 30, then I have 40, 50, 60. I have 60% race bonus on a free-to-play deck. This is a pretty free-to-play friendly deck. I could cut it down to 55. I could cut it down to 50 pretty easily by replacing any one of these wit or the last guts card, right? I could give myself 5% more race bonus if I had the Ayabe, right? NTR is better for power bonus. NTR should be, yeah, you know what? For a guts deck, you're probably right. I would probably go with Nagisa Top Road. Yeah, because you have speed and power bonus. And with a guts deck, what you want is speed and power, right? And, you know, if you need the stamina, then I would definitely consider it and go with like a Super Creek. I would probably put 1 speed card at the very least, though. So try running it with like ideally Kita-san black. If you have this card would be good, but if you don't really have that many options, Nagisa Brian, Tosin Jordan, right? These are fine. And if you do this, you have 10, 20, 30, 40, 45, 55 race bonus. We could cut this down to a better guts card. Maybe you need more speed, put another speed. Maybe you want to try more wit, do a wit card. But 3 guts, I think, is typically a very good number. You don't need stam card. No stam card equals 850 spark. 850 stam already with spark. Okay, sure. If you don't need the stamina, right? Because Vodka probably won't be running in a long distance track, then you probably don't need the stamina. You could do like a Nagisa Top Road, right? But this is how I would still go about, like, let's say I wasn't racing Vodka, I was racing someone who does have like a decent long rating and I do want to make for a long distance track, you know, we might want to try thinking about that. But, or like, let's say I don't have the sparks for it, right? This is what you have to kind of think about when you're making your deck, right? Will this type of deck work with my New Year Opera O? So let's take a look at New Year Opera. I don't think I have New Year Opera, but I have TM Opera. Oh, I think I should. Yeah, I think so. You want your mile rating to be as high as you can. Unfortunately, even with really good sparks, I could get C. Probably you want more. Yeah, you probably have to get another one. But she has... No, I would not recommend a Guts deck for an Umamusume without any speed growth. I would not recommend a Guts deck. You would have to do one of the conventional decks that we were looking at earlier. Yeah. All right. 0% speed growth is possible. Then, yeah, I would not recommend it for beginners. If you know what you're doing, though, and you're doing the run enough, then obviously, like, a lot of things are possible. But, anything else? New Year Opera has 14% speed. Oh, she has 14% speed? Then, yeah. 14% speed, 8% power, 8% wit. I would say Guts decks are really nice for her then. For sure. Is there any other example I should go over? We already went over 0% speed. We went over a 10% speed. And we went over a free-to-play deck. And a Guts deck. I think that's pretty much it. Right? Are there... Okay. Are there any questions with regards to the deck building? Just pertaining specifically to cards. So I don't have Kita-san. Okay, we'll do this. So I don't have Kita-san Black, but a lot of people are asking, like, how would you build a deck with Kita-san Black? Because you can't use Kita-san Black as a card. That's fine, right? I think we went over the options. You know, Shinko Windy is amazing because you get 10% race bonus, right? But you don't have Shinko Windy. Any of these speed cards will do. What is she have? Game Tora, Kita-san Black. Kita-san Black has probably 20% speed growth, 10% guts. I would say just try a guts deck, if anything. You could definitely try a guts deck like we had earlier, right? Yukino, Haru, Ayabe. You know, we could do some wit. With these, we could go NTR, right? Not just a top road. Like, this is perfect. This should be okay. If you will need some stamina, RBX said you can get the stamina without any stamina as long as you have stamina sparks. But if you need extra stamina, you know, I'd probably replace one of the wit cards and go with like Manhattan Cafe or Super Creek. She has 10% stamina growth too, so, you know, maybe even like power. I think she'll be fine. Now you wanted to do a frontrunner wit card. Sorry, I can't remember her name. Oh, true. Right, she is a frontrunner. So because she's a frontrunner, Mihono Bourbon is the best in slot for a wit card. Mihono Bourbon, just keep in mind, for a wit card, she's an event card that was fairly recent. She's super good. She's best in slot because even for pay to win, because she has taking the lead, which is early game acceleration. She has Moxie that she offers, which is like a heal for frontrunners. I don't know if it's specifically for Pisces would be good, but just in general, it's really good. Focus, you have like frontrunner straightaways, frontrunner corners, early lead. And on top of that, she has 5% race bonus, which makes her very easy to fit in. Just really good multipliers. Speed bonus as well. Very, very good card. Yeah. She doesn't need Bourbon. Then, yeah, if you don't need Bourbon, let's see over here. Because for her card, she does have Focus. She does have early lead. She even has Taking the Lead. So, like, Kita-san Black has a lot of privilege. She has, she can consider not even running the best in slot wit card. Because, like, she just has the skills that it provides. Agnes Tachyon, you want more skill points? Go for more skill points, right? Skill point bonus, wit bonus, more stats, more better. fine motion, you know? Like, pretty much the world is your oyster as Kita-san Black. You can play any card you kind of want. Yeah. Yeah, she does have focus in taking the lead. That's true. So, from potential skills. But yeah, that should about cover that. Any other questions that we had? This video is getting pretty long too, but obviously the Q&A section, I hope we would cut anything that's relevant. You know, yeah, want to try and keep this around 20 minutes. What is Kita-san Black with a normal deck? Kita-san Black with a normal deck. You probably only want to run 2 speed cards at most because she has 20% speed growth. So with that considered, let's do like a free to play. Let's do a Tosin Jordan. And stamina is going to be there for Pisces Cup. So we'll not run Pisces. I mean, or we'll not run a stamina. Have the wit. I mean, she has like, she could run anything. If you're building her, I guess you could run this card. Front runner corners. Corner recovery. I'd probably, like, if I have Super Creek, I'd still go with Swinging Maestro, no? Does she not need a heal? If you need stamina, I'd put that. Another speed card. And in that case, with the stamina, then you want one more wit card at least. She need 1 or 2. Okay. Well, Tosin Jordan's really nice because she has Breath of Fresh Air. If you need a heal, then you need stamina. So like this solves all your problems. But if you don't have a heal, then you put a stamina card, right? And for the last one, I mean, I'd just go greedy and put another wit, right? Could even consider running a PAL card. Another card, so this I want to include in the video, but another card to consider using is Riko Kashimoto, who is a friend card, but this friend card at max Summer Break gives 10% race bonus. With all the other multipliers, recovery, effectiveness, her dates, right? As an option, it's not the best, but it's an option. As well as initial stamina. Like, this is a very good card to consider. I wouldn't consider Tazuna ever. There's no race bonus, so it makes it very difficult to run her. No other friend card. This card's a joke, so. But yeah, I mean, like, this could be a free slot. Like, if you want more stats, you know, play a wit card, right? Let's just say Daiwa. If you're having trouble meeting cap speed for some reason with 20% speed growth, then run another speed card. If somehow you want more power, like anything you want, literally anything you want, just build anything you want. Because with this, we have like, without considering this card, right? We have 10, 15, 25, 35, 45. Okay, so something with 5% race bonus, right? Unless you swap this out with like Shinko Windy, then your race bonus is there, right? But yeah, I mean, Shinko Windy is like, if you're looking for another speed card, this is kind of your best in slot. That said, I do think Kita-san Black has Miles C rating, so it's very easy to get this to A. But if you really want to min-max, just get it to B, I guess. And at that point, you probably want to look at like initial speed cards like Shinko Windy, right? Would be good. Does she have initial speed? I feel like she does. Oh, she has initial speed. Nagita Taishin stocks definitely go up in this scenario because she has initial speed and initial friendship gauge. That's not bad. That's definitely not bad. She's a lot better than she was in Unity and URA. Does Rare Rico work? Rare cards only have 5% bonus as a rule. Tazan has race bonus? She doesn't. Or well, maybe her rare card does. Sorry if you covered this already, but are Power Nishino and Marvel Sunday worth running for the 50% race bonus? Yes, to get you to 50%. Yes. To get you to 50%, they are worth running. If you're not getting, if you can get 50% without them, then you don't need to run them, right? I would say, with regards, so include this in the video. With regards to, the question was, are Nishino Flower and Marvelous Sunday worth running as, power cards with 15% race bonus? The answer is yes to meet 50%. If you don't need to meet 50% and power doesn't fit in your deck, likely it doesn't, then you can cut them. You could just replace them with something else. But these are cards that are very useful to help you meet the 50% mark, right? I mean, just look, these are by themselves 30. With this, that's 40% race bonus, right? Which is quite a bit. Makes your deck making very flexible. Power Sunday have initial stamina and power too. Yeah, that's really nice. Wow, 35 each. 35. Nishino Flower does have 20 initial power, which is nice. The last point I want to cover, just the last section I want to cover, chat, because I think we got through the questions. These are recommended borrows. If you need, so make your deck, and if you need 15, you need 10% race bonus, right? These are the cards you want to heavily consider. Sakura Chiyo no O is a great stamina card if you already have your heals solved. So heals are any of the golden heal cards. Any of the golden heal stamina, so Super Creek, right? Super Creek has Swinging Maestro, very highly sought after healing skill. If your heals are solved, you're making a pace chaser. And Sakura Chiyo no O is a card, stamina card, that gives you 15% race bonus. Very good. Might not need the stamina though, right? Except for really long tracks. Econodictus, if you wanted another guts stat stick, Econodictus is insane. Yeah, Econodictus, to borrow her, she has 15% race bonus. She has 10% training effectiveness, friendship bonus, right? She has initial friendship gauge, makes her easy to train with. So she's pretty nice in terms of being a guts card. This is if you're missing a third guts card somehow. As far as that goes, she's okay. But wit cards, this Nice Nature Wit is very, very good. Nice Nature Wit is amazing because not only does she provide you 15% race bonus, but she also provides On Your Left, which is a golden acceleration skill for late surge. It's pretty random, but it's still a gold excel. And Ramp Up as well is a very good skill. Other cards to consider: 10%, very common. Again, Nadita Top Road NTR is going to be your overall stat booster. If you just want more stats overall, more stats, speed bonus, power bonus, just more stats overall, Nadita Top Road is very good for that because she gives training effectiveness up to 20 for 200,000 fans, which is amazing. An amazing, amazing stat stick. If you're having trouble with your early races, then it's Machigana Fukukitaru, because you borrow her, you have 150 starting stats. It's amazing. 10% race bonus, 10% training effectiveness. Amazing, amazing card. If you are wanting specifically more speed stat, I think Biko Pegasus, you have 20% training effectiveness, right? And she just has so much specialty priority with her unique effect, that is. And it's just very good. But besides that, we have Sweep Tosho. If you're running end closer, she has straightaway spurt. Very low chance, but she has straightaway spurt. And I believe she has... what else does she have, chat? She has Slipstream. She has... straightaway spurt? Wait a minute. Oh, but it's a low chance, right? She has 0 friendship gauge. Unfortunate. if you're making an end closer, something worth considering. Borrow Creek is very good if you need a heal or if you need more stamina, which is a lot of cases. So Borrow Creek is super good because she's super creek, and she also has 10% race bonus at maximum break. So this is just an amazing card. So much lifetime. Very, very good. If you're making an end closer, a card to consider if you really want to go the extra mile is Emir Vega, Ayabet. She has 10% race bonus, but she also provides Daring Strike. Daring Strike is basically like a gold chip ultimate skill that anyone can, well, end closers can have. Fine Motion is probably the best wit stat stick in the game. Yeah, she's probably the best wit stat stick, universal wit stat stick. Right-handed, fall runner, you need it. Nimble navigator, just so much stats that she's able to boost. Very, very good with 10% race bonus as well. And finally, 5% race bonus, what you'd consider are like Kitasan Black, Mayo no Top Gun, Yuki no Bijin. This is if you want more stats. Mayo no Top Gun has Restless, which is a front runner heal skill. Also has Head On, which is a pace chaser acceleration skill. You also have Yuki no Bijin, who has No Stopping Me, which is one of the only sources of No Stopping Me in Trackblazer, is Yuki no Bijin. However, her stats that she provides are pretty poor. No Stopping Me. If you're like running a late surger, chances are you really need No Stopping Me. I think that should about cover it. Anyway, guys, if this was helpful to you at all, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you have any questions. Hopefully someone can answer. As well, if you want me to cover anything else, let me know. I will see you all on the next one. Use code MOMBOY for 10% off your gamer subs. I'll see you. Bye.